Church, are you carrying your rocks? Okay, I hope you have them with you. And I hope that your rocks speak to you and are guiding you throughout the season of Lent. Notice our rock cairn is still standing. It's a perfect balance. I tried to stack some of these rocks. I couldn't get more than 2 rocks stacked. So I don't know how Lisa did that, but she did. They're a little larger and heavier. I want to introduce you to a lady called Julian of Norwich. Some had called her Dame Juliana. She was the first woman to write a book, to ever publish a book in English, in the language of English. And her book survives to this day. She was born in 1342, a long time ago, 700 years ago. She was a celebrated mystic, and her book that she wrote, the oldest book from a woman, is called Revelations of Divine Love. And it's considered one of the most miraculous and remarkable documents of the medieval language, medieval experience. Julian says that we are made of God. We are made of the light that was in the beginning. We are made of the wisdom that fashioned the universe. In its glory of connectedness or interrelatedness. We are made of the love that longs for oneness and unity. We are made of God. Julian's writings have been quoted by many of spiritual and mystical thinkers even to this day. This is not to deny, however, that humanity does have an evil or dark side to it. We do have the capacity for evil, for falseness, and for ugly betrayals that tear us apart. And so, church, we come to the season of Lent because we need it. The rock cairn is our symbol for Lent because it is meant to remind us that our lives need balance. The second stone on the cairn represents fasting. Now, these 40 days of Lent are a season of preparation for a rebirth in all of us. In religious language, use the word resurrection. It's a desire to move back into relationship with God and everything else that is of God. It means choosing to move in harmony with the universe once again and everything that is of the universe. So, easier said than done. How do we do that? How do we move back into balance or wholeness with God and the universe that God has created around us? How do we restore ourselves to the vision that God has for each one of us, our lives? How do we transform what is broken in us into wholeness? Not only in our individual lives, but in our communal lives together as church, as wider community, as nation, as world. Lent has long time been the primary time for renewing this greater discipline in our lives in order to focus more on the path of Jesus, whom we call our Christ. To help us engage in the reality of our need for this transformation, the church suggests a threefold pattern of discipline for these 40 days of Lent. And that is prayer and fasting and almsgiving. Almsgiving is simply charity, charitable works, acts of kindness. Prayer, we have been told, is good for our souls. Fasting, we are told, is good for our bodies, our self-discipline. And almsgiving is good for our neighbor, for the wider community around us. So fasting, prayer, and almsgiving are disciplines that bring balance to our lives. They bring our bodies, mind, spirit, soul back together again. Think of these disciplines as a holistic way of self-evaluation and the commitment to rethink and rework everything that we know in light of God. So on the second Sunday of Lent, we've chosen to focus on the discipline of fasting. And Kate, thank you for that wonderful Lenten reflection on fasting and how we can fast to improve our environment around us. Fasting, we typically think of as abstaining from food. For a long time, Lent, we give up things that we might enjoy. That's not going to cost us too much. Foods like chocolate or coffee. Some religious traditions abstain from meat during the season of Lent. But fasting can refer to abstaining from more than just food. Some people during the season of Lent abstain from television, maybe social media, the internet, maybe a hobby, maybe overpacked schedule. We try and build in more time for our families. Fasting is voluntary. It's a voluntary abstinence. It's a positive practice that brings us closer to God and to seek breakthroughs for our lives and for others. And as we give up something, we should replace it. And what do we replace it with? Prayer. Or devotional reading. Or acts of kindness. We replace it with time for God. So it's not only just giving up something, but it's replacing that something that draws us closer to God. It doesn't matter what we do for Lent. The important thing about Lent is paying attention to our inner motives, how we are following the path of Christ. As Jesus so often warned us, the outward actions can be done for a variety of reasons. If we are going to fast merely to look good or to improve our bodies, then we're doing it for the wrong reasons. In today's lesson, Jesus says, don't worry about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, or about what you will wear or your body. Is life not more than food, and the body more than clothing? So Jesus invites us into this realm where priorities are clear. And the focus in God's realm is not about how many toys we amass or wealth. It matters where our hearts are and how we are connected with God. God's vision for the world is to participate in a community where people look out for each other and to share what they have. How people share what they have and leave some for others. And an example of that is our food pantry. Today I'd like us to think about fasting in ways to help save the environment or the earth. That's what my rock has tended to remind me of. And I want to thank our green team for the hints of green. Because if you look at today's weekly, you'll notice a hint of green that all of us can follow. Yes, I was using some body wash out of plastic bottles. And then I read the hint of green that says, use bar soap instead of body wash because you'll save a plastic bottle. We need to fast from using so much plastic in our society because we have amassed islands in our oceans made of plastics that are killing the ocean life, marine life around it. We can fast from eating so much meat because that has a huge impact on our carbon footprint. We can turn our computers off every night. Never throw away newspapers. Always recycle glass. Rethink our water consumption, how we shower, or the water that we use to brush our teeth. Don't ever leave the faucet running. That used to bug me with my brother leaving the water running when he brushed his teeth. Oh man, this is on. Okay. You'll get it for that. We can use energy-efficient light bulbs. We should buy local as much as possible, or learn about what it means to buy local and where we can do that. I'm enjoying the newsletter articles in the Courier, not only just the hints of green, but the whole articles that inform me and give me wisdom of how to save the environment. Lisa Warren, in addition to Kay and Judy, and now that the bars of Sothing, I've learned not to drink from a straw. Lisa Warren has encouraged me to never drink from a plastic cup. Miriam Price has made me rethink everything that goes into the trash can. Thank you for your awareness and for awakening me and the congregation to how we might save the environment. The motive for fasting, church, arises out of the hunger for God's direction in our lives. Climate change represents the biggest challenge that you and I face, and the future of humanity and the life systems that make our world habitable. April 22nd of this year is the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, and every country on this planet is charged to step its game up to life-saving measures and to step it up with urgency and ambition. Fasting is not about punishing ourselves. It's not giving up something so we can feel worse. Fasting is about encouraging good habits. It's about creating space for introspection, of self-evaluation and awareness. It's about awakening to the priorities that God has for us as individuals and as church. Fasting will drive us to penitence, and through penitence to confession, and through confession to transformation, because that's what confession is all about. Because Transformation Church leads us to wholeness. Wholeness as individuals, and as communities, and as nations, and as a planet. Let us take fasting seriously and engage in a practice of fasting for life. We invite you to always become a part of the community that seeks to awaken